Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala salah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد إن أصدق حديث كتاب الله عز وجل وأحسن حدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم والشر أمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة في الإسلام بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. All praise is due to Allah Azza wa Jal. We praise Him and we extol Him and we seek refuge in Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala from evil results of our bad actions and the evil results of our ill intentions. Whomsoever Allah guides can be never left astray, and whomsoever Allah allows to be left astray in misguidance, and there is no guide for that individual. Verily, the most truthful of speech is the book of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, and the finest guidance is that of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And the most evil of affairs are the newly invented ones, bid'ah. And every innovation is going astray, and every bid'ah leads to the hellfire. Isla al-afiyah. As what follows, my dear Brother Salam Iman, we all have heard about the horrific attacks that took place in uptown Toronto. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. To Allah, from Allah we come, and to Allah is our return. And our condolences go out to those people who have suffered loss in that horrific attack, where that man used the van and he purposely killed innocent people. So they said that over 10 people were killed and 17 others or more were injured. So may Allah Azza wa Jal give the families solace for their loss. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. And we know that the person who carried out these horrific attacks wasn't a person who was sick or deranged, and nor was he attached to any type of a group. And we all know that this person, when they found out from his social media that it was an individual who was a loner, and he was persuaded by some hate mongers on social media. So he went out and did these attacks purposely. So this is a lesson for us all, that anybody is susceptible to being manipulated by the images or thoughts and opinions by people on the social media. And we have heard this type of rhetoric before, where a young person between the ages of 17 to 25 or 26 is easily influenced or has been influenced by some people, some hate mongers on social media, after have been withdrawn from society, and as a result of them being in isolation, they are becoming brainwashed or influenced by hate mongers on social media. And this is the norm, that whenever we hear of such horrific attacks, that Muslims are glued to the news in the media and biting our nails on pins and needles to find out if it was a Muslim. And when we find out, alhamdulillah, it wasn't a Muslim, it's like a big weight has come off of our backs. Because we know that these types of things are happening a lot in these days with our young Muslims, the youth. They're being radicalized and they're very susceptible to these types of influences on social media. So, my dear Salam Iman, this is one of the reasons why our ummah today is so weak, because lack of communication. And when we see the indications of people becoming isolated, we fail to practice the basic sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ to find out and inquire about each other when we haven't seen them for some time. So we know that these things are happening, and we don't want to focus on the negative effects of these types of attacks. So, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. From Allah we come, and to Allah is our return. And as young Muslims, we have to realize that one of the important defining factors in refining our Islamic character is for us to have a strong personality. This is something which a lot of our youth are lacking in. They lack in the respect of them not understanding their identity. So a lot of our youth are suffering from a severe identity crisis. So they become isolated in rooms online, and they try and identify with those groups or those organizations. And then a lot of them, ma'asif shadid, very sorry to say, become radicalized. So the first step in our developmental process as a Muslim individual is for us to choose to be strong enough to make the choice to be with good, sincere, practicing Muslims. And let me be perfectly clear when I say this, that if we know that we have friends in our social media group or on our Facebook or Twitter, whatever social media we have assigned with, and we know that those individuals are bad. Why? From their posts, from the words that they use, from the images that they post on their pages. If we know that they are corrupt, then we have to be strong enough to block these so-called friends. Because to be a true follower of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the people who adhere to the Sunnah and want to cling to the Jama'ah, the way of the Prophet ﷺ and his companions, the Salaf as-Salih, then it means that we have to be people of truth. We have to be people who submit to the truth. Sami'na wa ata'na. It means that we have to be strong enough to cut off from bad friends, even if they are in our close circles. Even if there are people who we have known for so many years, if we see that these people are posting negative things on their chat boards, then we have to be strong enough in our Islamic personality to cut off from them. But this is my sincere advice from myself and all of you, that if you notice negative things being posted on your page or on their page, then you have to be a strong enough individual to cut off, block that person as soon as possible. You can do it from your cell phone, or you can do it from your laptop or your computer when you get home Inshallah. This is my advice because we do not want to be guilty by association. We shouldn't always be a yes Muslim, a yes man Muslim, or a wishy-washy Muslim, that we are not strong enough to even block these types of individuals. Because where is our backbone as a Muslim? Where is our backbone? Where are we? Who are we? If we can't even block a person which is posting things which are clearly against our deen or against anything that is proper or humane. So if we have friends or so-called friends that are doing things online which we know are haram or harmful for the society, then we should be strong enough to block these individuals. So let me start our khutbah today after that advice for myself and you all, because the khutbah should be something of advice that we can take and put into practical application in our lives. But let me start by saying and reciting a small surah which Allah Azza wa Jalla revealed to the Prophet ﷺ when he was in Mecca Mukarramah, and the severe hardship and difficulty. And we all know of what the Prophet ﷺ and a small band of believers experienced when they were in Mecca. Allah Azza wa Jalla reassured him by sending down a surah by saying, Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar, fasalli li rabbika wanhar, inna shaniyaka huwa al-abtar. Sadaqallah. Verily we have given you abundance of goodness, al-kawthar. So pray and sacrifice for Allah, because those who hate you, they will eventually be cut off. Regarding this surah, there's a hadith, it's Sahih Muslim, and the thought of Anas radhiyallahu anhuma, who said that while they were sitting with the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the masjid, he dozed off into a slumber. He fell asleep. And then he nodded off. And then he woke up while he was smiling. And as the Sahaba were very observant, they asked Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, what makes you smile? What makes you laugh? He said, a surah has just been revealed to me. And then he asked them, Atadruna mal kawthar? Do any of you know what is al-kawthar? They said, Allah wa Rasuluhu alam. They were not into guesswork or trying to pretend that they know something when they don't know. They said, Allah and the Messenger know best. Then the Prophet ﷺ, he said that this is a river. This is a river in Jannah that has been bestowed to me and my followers. And it has in it abundance of goodness. And around it, there are cups that are more numerous than the stars in the sky. And everyone who is my sincere follower will drink from this pond, this river in Jannah. And there will be somebody who will be brought, he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he will try and drink. Someone of my ummah, he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they will try and drink from this pond, and they'll be prevented. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, this is from my ummah. I recognize him, and he will be pushed away from the pond. And it will be said that you do not know what he innovated after you. So, my dear brothers and iman, if we want to be a true follower of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and get this privilege to drink from this abundance of goodness, al-kawthar, with the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and there's so many in every book of hadith, in every book of the collection of hadith, there's a description of this pond in Jannah. There's so many ahadith that is too many to enumerate in this khutbah. There's so many ahadith. But one thing to mention is that the Prophet ﷺ said that this pond is whiter than milk and is sweeter than honey. And once you take one sip from this al-kawthar, you'll never ever experience any type of thirst or hunger again. So this makes it clear that if we want to be in the company of the Rasul ﷺ and his faithful followers, then we have to be strong Muslims today, right now. Right now in our life, we all have a choice. Life is all about choice. We all have a choice to be a strong, practicing Muslim, that we choose to be in the company of good, upright Muslims, or we can choose to be a yes Muslim, a wishy-washy Muslim, and we just go with the flow, and we say yes, yes, naam, naam to anything that anyone says, anything that feels right, we just go with that flow, then we're only asking for trouble. We're only asking for trouble. Because we cannot be in the company of those people who are knowingly, we know are bringing us down. We cannot choose to be in a company with people who we feel in our gut and we see the signs that these people are only bringing us down. So if we really want to be in the company of the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the next life, then we have to choose correctly. We have to make correct choices in this life to be with the people of the Sunnah, who are adhering to the Quran, authentic Sunnah, with sincerity. Because there are many ahadith on the turmoils and the fitin and the troubles that are going to happen in the last days, which you are living in. And to end with this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said that those of you who live a long life, فَسَتَرَى, he said, you will see اختلاف كثيرا. You will see a lot of differences of opinion. فَعَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّتِي وَسُنَّةُ الْخُلَفَاءِ الرَّاشِدِينَ الْمَهْدِيِّينَ. He said, hold on. When you see these differences of opinion, hold on to my sunnah and the sunnah of the rightly guided predecessors that come after me. This is what the Prophet ﷺ said. Bite onto it with your molar teeth. This is what the Prophet ﷺ advised us. He never ever said just say naam, yes, and just go with the flow. Because they are from our community, they're from my people, we speak the same language. This is not the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So, now is our chance with the Salam and Iman. There's also a hadith that the Prophet ﷺ has said that Al-Mar Ma'man Yuhab, that a person will be with those whom they love. What does this mean? That those people who we associate with in this life will be raised with them in the next life. So we have to make a sincere, wholehearted choice to be with the people who are sincerely holding on to the Quran and Sunnah with sincerity. We should make that choice now. We must make that choice now because we don't know how long we have in this life. None of us knows how long we have in this life. So, if we choose correctly, then bi'idhnillah, by the permission of Allah, because of our sincere effort to try and choose to be with the people who are sincerely practicing the Quran and Sunnah with a correct understanding of the Salaf and As-Salih, then inshallah we can hope to be with the Prophet ﷺ and his Ashab and drink from the Kawthar, his pond of Al-Kawthar. Allah Azza wa Jal, He has reminded us in Surah Al-Imran, ayah number 106, يَوْمَ تَبْوَتْ وَجُوهُ وَتَسْوَتْ وَجُوهُ. There will be a day when the faces will be beaming with brightness, gleaming with brightness. And there will be a day, and that day, people's faces will be dark with humiliation. Ibn Abbas has stated that this ayat is referring to the faces of the followers of the Sunnah, that their faces will be beaming with brightness. And those people who will willingly, wholeheartedly, with full choice and intention, choose to be with those people who willingly want to oppose the Prophet ﷺ's way, their faces will be black. Their faces will be dark with humiliation on that day. So, if we want to continue to follow groupism, and we want to continually follow those people on social media who we know are posting bad things, and if we get in trouble in this life, this will be nothing in compared to the trouble we'll be facing in the next life when we stand in front of Allah, the Barak wa Ta'ala. So if we know that people are posting hateful things on social media, we have to be strong enough, we have to be brave enough, we have to be Muslim enough to cut them off, to block them. So then our conscience is clear. There isn't anything better, my dear Salam Iman, than to live in this life with a clear conscience. If we know that people are posting hateful speech on social media, I'll repeat it again, that we should at least be strong enough, brave enough to block them. Because if we don't, then we might be guilty by association. And this is all about i'tisam, clinging and holding on to the Quran and authentic sunnah, and being a person of the sunnah in speech and action and intention. So we need to be able to, in this life, while we're young, while we're strong, while our aql, our intelligence is intact, to differentiate between the people of the sunnah and the people of bid'ah, and those people who are knowingly, who are trying to lead us astray. We have to be able to understand these things and be able to see the signs of these things while we're strong, while we're healthy, while we have intelligence. Imam Shatibi has stated in his book Al-I'tisam, yani clinging to the Sunnah, that the Sharia definition of bid'ah is a newly invented way of beliefs and actions in the deen, which is an imitation of the Sharia, the Islamic prescribed law, by which nearness to Allah is sought, but by not supported by any authentic proof, nor foundations, nor in the manner which it was performed by the Prophet ﷺ or his ashab, anhum ajma'in. End of quote. Also, in regards to accompanying the people of the Sunnah, the Messenger of Allah ﷺ has given us a very strong admonition about this. This hadith is sahih. It's been found in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, Sahihain. That the Prophet ﷺ, he said, whoever innovates in the deen or gives shelter to an innovator or protects an innovator, then upon that person is the la'nat of Allah. Alayhi la'natullah wa malaikatu wa nas ajma'in. Whoever, I repeat, innovates in the deen or gives shelter to a person of innovation or protection to a person of innovation, then upon that person is the curse of Allah and the angels and all those who curse. And the noble Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah has stated that I am not afraid of the outside enemy. I am not afraid of the outside enemy that tries to infiltrate Islam or to attack Islam. But what I am afraid of is the inside enemy of those people who speak our language and they wear our clothing, because they seek to deceive Islam from within. End of quote. So, my dear Salam Iman, my whole point from the beginning of this first part of this khutbah is for us to understand that we must have a strong Islamic character. We must have a strong Islamic personality. Islam is about standing out for justice and what is right and what is true and correct. So if we have any friends who are on social media and they're posting hateful speech and we see it, don't put LOL, don't laugh at those things. Don't laugh at those things, because that means that we are agreeing with those things. That means that we're agreeing with those things. We have to be strong enough to block those people. So may Allah Azza wa Jal give us the tawfiq to be strong, practicing Muslims. Ameen, ameen, ameen. Bismillah, salatu salam ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sallam huda wa ba'd. So, my dear Salam Iman, to be a person who is strong enough to always try our best to be in the company of righteous, upright Muslims is not easy, especially in this part of the world. We're not living in our hometown. We're not living in our hometown, those of us who are from predominantly Muslim countries. We're living in a land which is not the land of Islam. So most of the time, maybe a good chunk of our time, we'll be working with people who are not Muslim, who do not practice Islam. But it's for us as Muslims to be an individual, because we're all individuals. Even though we have co-workers or we have classmates, we have to show our individualism. That when they do things or say things that are not informed with our Islam, that they go against the grain or our core beliefs, then we have to be strong enough to pull away from them. If we have to work with them, then we have to work with them. But we have to know that the friends that we keep in close proximity, they're going to have an effect, negative or positive, on our character. So we have to understand that if we want to be a good practicing Muslim in this life, and then inshallah be in the company of the Prophet ﷺ and his companions around the Hawd, then we have to have the ihtisam, the clinging and holding on to the sunnah in this life. And we have to try our best to inspire this into our youth. We have to try our best to inspire this type of understanding into the next generation. Because we see the statistics that the majority of the people who are carrying out these type of horrendous acts are people between the ages of 19 to 26. This is an age where the brain is still developing. And the time when the person really wants to be involved in a group. They want to be involved in a group. So we have to understand that now is our time. Now is our chance to be sincere in our practice of the deen. Now, especially, we know that in the next few weeks, Ramadan will be starting. So if we know that we have a problem, that we are the bad apple, then we have to change. We have to be strong enough to change that about ourselves. And if we know that there are bad people in our circle, our close-knit circle, then we have to be strong enough to block them. On top of that, my dear Salam and Iman, when we're in the company of the non-Muslims, then we have to be strong enough to show our Islam. That when it's time to pray, we pray. When it's time to pray, we pray. Ramadan is coming. If we haven't already done so, then we have to make arrangements with our co-workers to take over certain parts of our shift, or talk to the people if we're working for somebody, talk to the boss and let them know that I need to fast and I need these permission, I need these time slots. So, my dear Salam Iman, as I mentioned, the hadith of the Prophet Salam, that al-mar'u ma'a man yuhib, that the person will be with those whom they love. So if we really love to be in the company of the Prophet Salam and his righteous companions, then we have to make the choice in this life to choose to be with the people of the Sunnah, the people who are sincerely trying to practice the Sunnah. Keep this word in our mind, al-ittisam, holding on and clinging to the Kitab and the Sunnah. This should be our motto in this life, that we hold on to the Quran and Sunnah, and we try and always stick and cling to those people who love to be righteous, upright. We're going to have friends or we're going to have co-workers. So we have to try and differentiate between those people who are good people, because there are a lot of good people out there, even though they're not Muslim. We should associate with them and let them be our spokesperson to those other non-Muslims who know that I am a practicing Muslim. You can ask him or ask that good person to represent you and tell them, listen, I don't want to involve in these things. This person, Abdul, doesn't want to involve in these things. He's a good Muslim. He's trying to practice his deen. So if we want to be in the company of the Prophet ﷺ, we have to choose righteous company today, because there are many hadith on this subject. Too many to mention. And just common sense would dictate that if we want to be in the company of the Prophet ﷺ and we don't want to be guilty by association, then we have to make the sincere choice and effort today. Today, my dear Salam and Iman, we have to cut off, we have to block, and we have to lose any of these bad company. We have to lose and drop those bad habits from ourselves. So may Allah Azza wa Jal help us to be a better influence on ourselves, be a better influence on our families, on our wives, or our children, and be a better influence on our community at large. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us all the tawfiq to understand what we're saying and to follow the best thereof. Ameen, ameen, ameen. Inna Allah wa malaikatu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana واغفر لك واقنا عذاب النار. واقم الصلاه.